Hey, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. If you are new, my oldest is second grade for homeschool, and my youngest is doing kindergarten work. Our days normally start out with my oldest doing Explode the Code. She's pretty independent at this point, but if there's a new spelling pattern, I will pre-teach it to her. And on this day, my youngest was just playing with the Hobby books. Sometimes she's free playing, but today she decided to take out those books. We started with our Winston Read Aloud, and this is a new book for us. We've read the other one the previous Christmas times, and this time we are reading How Winston Came Home for Christmas. And so this was our first time reading this one. We have enjoyed it. Just based on the way that it is laid out, I kind of have figured out what I think we will do for our Christmas planning for the 2026-2027 school year. But I can't even believe I'm saying that, but it did give me some ideas. Normally, my girls can play with Play-Doh or slime or do whatever they want as long as it's not loud during this time. They wanted to hold on to their stuffed animals though, so I am very strict about no slime or putty or anything that could get on their stuffed animals if they have them out. And so that is what they opted to do. But my youngest did end up grabbing some coloring as we finished that up and moved on to Mexico for our country for learning about Christmas around the world through Sunlight's free download. We started with the reading, then we moved on to a podcast as well as some YouTube videos. And you will see with our projector, it always shows up a lot worse on camera, but we can see it a lot better in person, I promise. The next thing was our craft, which the girls had a lot of fun with. It was just pieces of red felt and green felt that I had cut. And I have all different colors of beads that have adhesive on them, but for some reason, I do not have yellow. I swear I have so many colors. But what I ended up doing was I just used a yellow permanent marker to color the white beads that I had, and then I was able to make these yellow for them to really complete their craft. These came out so cute, and the girls really enjoyed making them and were super proud of them. After this, we actually headed out to the library, and my girls had a special request of using our front door. If you don't follow along, we recently had our front door replaced. It was about a year in the making, but we had it replaced, and this is just the easiest way for us to go out because we recently got a lot of snow. Let me know if you are also in an area that ended up with snow because we got more than we were expecting. But at the library, I was able to get the book that Alani's going to be reading for the next portion of Wand. And it's so funny because they're always so eager to do this coloring. I need to leave coloring pages out more for them because they're always excited to do it at the library. But our library also has some books for sale, so I decided to look through the book bins while we were there. I didn't end up grabbing any of the 50-cent books, but it's always nice to look through and see what is available. And we were going to go home after that, but I got the call from my dog's vet that she was done. And I always pick her up as soon as possible because she cannot stand being away from me, being away from our house, any of that. And she is always so eager to get out. But once we got home, we had lunch, and then it was right to work. Alani was actually pretty frustrated with math. she kept starting with her tens rather than starting with her ones, and it was just causing confusion and frustration. It's really not anything we've dealt with before, so that was something we really worked on this particular day. But the main focus of today was subtracting from numbers as high as 200, numbers basically where there is a 0 in the tens place. And so that is what we were working on. I was going over it with her on the board, and she had 2 dry erase pockets in front of her, one with the hundreds, tens, and ones chart, and then one that was blank so she could solve the problem vertically. So this is what we were working on this day, and when she was done, she was able to go off independently to do Zern on her tablet, and that gave me the time to work with Emmy. I've been doing flashcards with Emmy. These flashcards are ones that I got through Hooked on Phonics years ago, but she sometimes does the flashcards this way. Sometimes we'll just do like a fun YouTube video for flashcards, but today we were doing it with the Hooked on Phonics flashcards. And if you see me doing motions every once in a while, those are just motions that kind of help her remember the sound. Little hints to help her when she gets stuck. For the most part, she's pretty good with her lowercase letters. She's already worked through the beginning Explode the Code books, and so she's used to seeing the lowercase letters a lot more than she's used to seeing the capital letters. And normally I do take out the sound for all of my videos, but I just loved hearing her cute little voice sing the Val song from Pinwheels, so I decided to keep that one in. Today, Emmy was working on blending the sound for the letter G with the different vowels, and she did want to write, so I did allow her to write as well, but that is not something I really push too much. Since she is still so little, I really leave it up to her and how she's feeling. But after this, we did mathematical reasoning, and that is her absolute favorite. That is something that I literally have to tell her, okay, we're done. We can't do any more, but it is just her favorite. I'm going to show you a quick peek, though, of what Alani was working on. As I said, she was doing Zern on her tablet, and then there's generally notes to go with that, and at the end, she has an exit ticket, which allows me to really see if she can use what she learned that day independently. Emmy's main focus in mathematical reasoning has been ordinal numbers, and so that's what she's been working on these days, and she really enjoys it. She has so much fun, but it is still a little tricky for her. She's having trouble sometimes remembering after first what the word is. This is more of a vocabulary thing for her. She knows, like, if this is number 2 or number 3, but the actual second or third. So I'm so glad that they are working on this in this book. It was tough, but I finally convinced Emmy that we needed to stop working, and I moved on to Wand with Alani. She is reading Harry and the Lady Next Door. This is the book that we picked up at the library. And when we first start, we always go back and forth. So she'll start, and then I do the next page. The second time we read it, we just reverse that. And then the third time she reads it, I have her read independently. She really enjoyed this story. It's a funny one, and I'm really glad with the book selections that Wand has made. But after this, we worked on syllable types, did some spelling, and she did her copy work. I purposefully picked some challenging words like the R controlled vowel for burning with that UR, ER, IR, trying to figure out when to use it, and then an ED suffix when it's making the T sound. And so just so she can practice, because those things can be really tricky if you're not practicing them regularly. And I loved the activity for the open and closed syllable today, where she could visually see what it looked like once open and what it looked like once closed. That was a really cool one. Copywork is always a passage from the story. So she was first marking up the passage. I gave her specific caution words, as Wand calls them, to underline. She also needed to mark the punctuation, as well as I had her mark the capital letters. They didn't have her do that this time, but they've had her do it previously. So I just wanted to have her do it because it is something that I still want her to be looking out for when she does her own copy work. So I do like that she does all of that before she even copies down the passage. That is going to wrap up this video though. It always takes us a little bit longer when I'm filming, but we also had some errands to run because usually we're done before lunchtime. So the days just get a little longer when we've got other things to do, but also when I'm filming, it does just take longer. If you like videos like this, please make sure you give this a like. Please make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of my future uploads. And as always, thank you so much for your support on my channel. I will see you in the next video. Bye.